So what happens when you combine the fun city building of a game like SimCity and smash it into the resource management of a game like Timberborn with maybe a sprinkle of the pixel art sensibilities of a game like Minecraft? Urbek City Builder. And I wanted to show you this game because it is one of the most fun and laid-back games that I've played in a long time. The developer provided me a copy of this game last week, but this is not a sponsored review. I don't do those.
Yeah, boy.
So if I'm bringing something to you, it's because I really like it, and I really, really like this game. So let's just hop right into it. We're gonna begin a new game. First of all, city name. If I do more than one of these videos, and that's going to be all depending upon whether you guys like this or not, I'd like a city name. In the meantime, I'll just generate some names, and one of the things you'll notice is there's a lot of South American names, and that's because this game is actually developed in Chile. So we'll go with Villa Flores for now, and we have a number of biomes that we can choose from. Right now I only have temperate unlocked. You have to beat temperate to get the other biomes. So for map size, the smaller the map, the more difficult it is. So that's because you're going to run out of space and need to optimize and redevelop your map to be able to continue to build on it. We're gonna go for a large map. So we'll turn the difficulty down a little bit, make it a little bit easier on ourselves as we're just starting out. Resources will go standard. For the type of map, I'm gonna go with a coastal map. The thing to know about this game is everything's totally flat. So you're not going to see gigantic mountains, but it's okay. It doesn't take away from the game, and you'll see why in a bit. So then we can have a river or not, or a lagoon. We're gonna go with just a standard river. And then there are type of terrain. So you could play with desert or snow. It's July in Wisconsin. I'm not doing snow. So let's hop right in. Okay, here we are in Villa Flores, for now anyway. Might need to change this down the line. And what you're going to see is that we get this map, and it's pretty big. This is a good sized map. And we've got, I believe that this is some desert. We've got forests here. We've got our river. And I'm gonna close this because I already know how to play the game. And I'm looking forward to explaining that to you. We also have the coast here. So we need to find a spot to build our city. Oh, and this is iron. So that's gonna be important for us as well to understand where that is. So with this game, there is no money, which is really a mind shift from games like City Skylines. We are going to need to take a look at our resources and make sure that we are optimizing for our resources rather than our money. So right now we're producing nothing. So we're going to need to build food, work, and wood. So work is people, wood is lumber, and food is farms. And then roads are totally free. Another thing that is really a pretty significant mind shift for me. So we just have a road right here, and building a road will take out trees, so there's something to keep in mind. We'll also send this back here, and in the future that'll help us reach our resource back there, and I'm going to send this over to reach some land that we can farm. So that'll be a nice little setup for us, and that costs us nothing, which is great because we don't have any money. All right, so let's build some houses. Now each house will cost us 50 work and 10 wood. So we only have a little bit, and they'll consume 10 food. So that's something that we need to keep in mind. And you'll see these update in real time. So let's just build a 3x3 little grid of homes. And then right away, we're gonna build a field. And you don't wanna overdo this. This is 30 and they'll produce 14. So we could get away with probably 6 potentially. And you can see right away this updates. We're actually at a deficit of, oh no, we're fine. We're fine. So these homes are coming in. We are now getting lower on wood. We've got 20 more work than we had, so that's what we're generating. It never lets you get to 0. It'll go into the deficit and give you 5 at least, so you can crawl out of your mistake. So something to keep in mind. So now we'll go into the industry tab, and we need a lumber camp. And this lumber camp is going to clear these forests. So it'll generate 15 production for us and also store 500 wood. So very important for us to keep that in mind. Now this little yellow that you see around there is the radius where you can't build another one of these. So if I wanted to build 2, I'd have to come up right here. And I'll do that. I will get cranking on this production right here. So what you'll see is that when I plop these down, I actually take my work and I start to exhaust it. So right now I have a wooden hut, 9 wooden huts, and that produces 90 production. And I'm using 70 of that, 40 with my lumber camps, 20 a piece, and then 30 with my farms. That's 5 for each tile. So the farms, if I place a farm, it will go right around that tree. This tree right here is actually part of the farm. This one, you see right here, that's a real tree. So we're gonna get rid of that one. We don't want that. And that should give us close to what we need. Just a little bit shy. Make it bigger. There we go. And you'll see that we're in the positive again, but we need to do better than that. Although you look here and we now don't have enough workers. So we're at an equilibrium. 5 is the minimum production, so they're giving it to us. So now we can build more homes. So let's do that right now. Why don't we just continue to kind of sprawl along the coast? Now, the thing to keep in mind, we'll make sure that our food production is at an equilibrium. And then I want to take a look at each of these. So you can click on a building and it'll tell you some characteristics about that building. It'll tell you what it upgrades to and upgrades from. So just general housing into wooden hut, and it could become a village house. To unlock village house, you have to have a population of 303 farmhouses, which I don't believe that we have access to yet, but we'll take a look at that in a second. So it also needs to have a certain number of squares with resources, or residents rather, within close proximity, because each one of these has a different number of residents. So this particular one that we clicked on has 8 residences. So this one is helping out those around it. So we have a very linear path to being able to upgrade this, which I very much appreciate. I think it's a lot of fun. Okay, so for farmhouse, we have to have a population of 200 to unlock it. So we are going to continue working on building out our farms so we have enough food to continue to grow. And we'll build a road down here. All right, so we know we need our population to improve. So all of these homes need to be 3 squares away from a road to be able to exist. So that's why I'm doing this 3x3. You can definitely do it a little bit differently, but we're going to go very basic in the beginning just to keep ourselves moving. So with this, our population right here, 186, I think we can grow even more. So right here, you can see that we currently have 25 work in our storage, and we need 50 to build a home. So that's why I have to wait a little bit, but it's okay. It'll come back. I'm producing 160 per turn. So I'm going to speed this up to 2 times speed so things move a little bit quicker for us. And just as quickly as I place these down, they fill in and we get population. All right, we have finally hit 300. So what that means is we can build our farmhouse. So let's build a farmhouse. So the farmhouse has a couple of things it needs, and you can see it in the needs menu right here. So it needs to have no other farmhouse within a 5-unit radius. It needs to have 12 or more farms within a 3 radius. So right here, it's satisfying that. Right here, it's not. Although if I scoot it over, it will. So all things to keep in mind. I'm going to place this right about, actually, I'm going to go inside. So we'll call a mulligan. We'll place it right there. Now the reason we want this, it's going to cost us 300 work, but this farm building itself will produce 100 production and store 200 food. So you can see that our food amount just went up and it's producing 100 food for us. So it's very, very, very useful. So now we're doing good there. We're doing fine on lumber. And the reason why we're doing fine on lumber is none of what we're doing actually expends or consumes lumber on a daily basis. So we can just keep going. And now you can start to see that things are really progressing along. So I'll just fill this all in and keep it going. So I'm going to build another field. And this one right here, if I go across, I can see that it's 6x7. We'll just mirror that over here. Now we've got plenty of food. Now if we max out, it's just going to fill up our storage and we're just kind of letting it burn. So things to keep in mind. We've unlocked some more things down here. One of the things I appreciate is the game doesn't overwhelm you with the different types of buildings that you can build. It unlocks them and shows them to you once it's available. So right now we can see that our neighborhood council, which will allow us to have edicts, that will unlock once we get a 700 population and have a grain silo. Both of those things are new introductions to us. But we see that over here, grain silo, 700 production, and 4 farmhouses. We can also build a tenement farmer at this point. Once we have 20 village houses, which means we have to go into here and figure out what would get us a village house. We can click on this. We have to have farmhouses. So it's really pointing us towards building these farmhouses. We also have a few other things that have unlocked or that are telling us when they'll unlock. Watermill being one of them, lumberjack cabin being another. Both of those produce energy, although the lumberjack cabin does it at a much lower level if you have those farmhouses. So we're back to the farmhouse. We're gonna do it. So we'll come through here and see what we need. We need to not be next to this. And I think right there will get it for us. I don't like that because now we're starting to encroach upon that resource there. So let's see if I can move that over here. So that works. And then we'll have another one right here approximately. So now I need to demolish these trees so I can grow my farm. Not a big deal. And then we'll add one more farmhouse over here as well. So there's a lack of symmetry there that bugs me, but we'll need to solve that at a later point in time. Actually, no, we'll do it now. I can't live with that. I can't do it. All right, right there. All right, lots of symmetry, looking good. So at this point, no, I hate that. I hate that so much. All right, we're gonna fix this. This is one of the things that's great about this game. It encourages you to continue redeveloping your land. So is that super exciting? No, but it functions. It gets us what we need, and that is what matters. Let's come back to a little village and see what we need to get some of these upgraded. And you start to see that we have some big wooden huts, and it's ready to upgrade to a village house, but we don't have enough energy to satisfy the consumption of this construction. So the village house needs 1 electricity. So we are going to need to build electricity. So when we come through here, there's 2 options. We could build a lumberjack cabin, which will consume wood on a daily basis. I think we're going to go with that. And now you'll see that it's consuming this as it's upgrading all of these buildings. They're basically occurring immediately. Tenement farmers unlocked, and we're about to run out of electricity as all of these little wooden huts become village houses. Right here, this village hut, what does it need? It needs more residences around it. So kind of interesting. So we've also got parks now. And for a park, we have to have a population of 700. The march towards progress is slow. Just add a little neighborhood here, and you see that we now have a deficit in power. Population's up to 800 by adding this little neighborhood over here. But we can easily get this to upgrade. Another lumberjack cabin, we can add that right next to this one. And there we go. Lumberjack house unlocked. Interesting. So we could see what that is. That must be, I know what that is. If we were to add a house right next to here, when this develops, it'll be a lumberjack house instead of just a regular house. Now that said, it's not going to develop right now, and I'm not, why? It just says housing. So maybe down the line. All right. Well, we've got more things to do, and we can build a park. Now, why would you want to build a park? We now have village houses, and if we want a wealthy village house, we need food services, leisure, and no pollution nearby. We also need a bigger population. And you'll see that the roads are starting to upgrade around here as the wealth of the community improves. That's pretty exciting as well. I'm going to continue to build this out. We'll go with a smaller block size, keep this a little bit more organic. Now, you're not going to be able to do diagonal roads or get fancy in that way, but it's fine. I think it's totally fine. The other thing we have now are watermills. So when we look at this, all of the yellow places are places where this would be a suitable thing to place. This is one that I can place right away because it's within 3 squares of a road. This one, which would be suitable based on the location, it's not overlapping the other watermill, doesn't have a road nearby, so it won't let me build it. Needs to have at least 3 road tiles. So now we have plenty of electricity. Village houses are consuming most of it. You don't need power lines or water pipes, none of that. We're not worried about that at all. So we can zoom in really close and actually get to see our city, which is pretty fun. And there is a first person mode as well. You can control the day-night cycle if you want to see what your little community looks like at night. I'm going to keep it to day for now, but maybe at the end we'll take a look and see how our little city looks. All right, so now we are going to look at our food and see if we can get some tenement housing in there. So what these do is they cost us 50 work, but they produce 50 food, which is certainly more than the normal field, and it also stores 50 food. So these are very valuable for us. When we click on it, you can see that it has to have at least 3 farm fields close by. So I'm going to build a little row of these. And that will get us our landlord's house. So I'm excited about that. We are 1 farmhouse shy of being able to build our grain silo. So we're going to do that as well. And the way that we're going to do that is just by, we'll add another farmhouse over here, or another farm over here. There we go. That's enough farming around it. 21 when we need 12. Very good. So that gives us our grain silos. So one of the reasons I'm putting the farmhouses so close to one another is you need to be able to overlap at least 2 of them to get your silo to work. So it's very important. Here we can see that we meet all of our requirements. We have no more than 2 farms in a 6, or we have 2 or more farms in a 6 unit radius, no modern grain silos, and no grain silos in the radius. So I will get rid of these and then go through and add our grain silo. And the reason this is valuable is it produces 200 food and stores 200. So obviously this is going to be something that we want to have a number of them to be able to keep things moving. So I can't put that right here. It's too close. I could go one up. So this is where the resource management comes in. If you want to min-max the game, you are going to need to be very careful with your planning and your layout of your little communities. And look at that. I mean, it's just kind of a natural looking little farm. I like it. Even though we're looking at pixel art, it's absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So the other thing we have is our landlord's house. This will produce 200, store 200, and consume 100 work on the regular. So we have a lot of work available to us. So we are going to build this. So for this, we need to have 4 tenant farms within the radius. So I can put that right at the corner here. And I think that's what we're going to do. We'll get rid of these and we'll add our landlord's house. So if I were not meeting the requirements of any of these buildings, they would abandon and they would show a little red exclamation point above them. Thankfully, we are not there. So there we go. So you might be wondering, can I rotate the map? I can. It does this weird thing, which kind of makes me dizzy, so I try not to do it all that much. The other thing that we can do is by clicking C, we can have a different view. So kind of an isometric versus the top down. So this can be fun. But I generally go with this one. I think it's a little bit easier to comprehend for my brain. So that's what we're going to go with. So now, what do we need to build? So we can build our neighborhood council and start to get some policies in place. And we're going to place that right at the corner here. Seems as suitable a place as any. And what this does is give us policies. And these policies do a lot. So parks produce food, increase unskilled labor, and decrease our happiness. That sounds bad. Reduce working days, increase our happiness, but reduce our work. We could probably do that. You can change policies every 6 months and time goes fast. So it's not a big deal. We could also have sustainable forestry, but we need to build more foresters, better quality food, lots of different things that we can do. For the time being, I don't think that we're going to have a lot of benefit from most of these because our town is so small. So I think we're going to just hold off on policies for the time being. And maybe if we play the game again, we will add some more policies into the mix. We have also unlocked our parks, and this is a basic park. 1 leisure, 1 green area. Nice park. We can get that if we put 4 green areas. It's just 4 of these parks and we will unlock it. So let's go ahead and place a park. Couple of things with these. You can just place 1 by 1, or you can drag it like it's a district. We'll make a gigantic park. It'll be a really fun place. And you see that it pops in, they can just kind of randomly generate, and it's pretty neat. So we've got this big park area now. And truthfully, let's back this out. We'll have people living right up against the park. That'll be a fun place to live, place that you'd want to live, place that would be valuable, provide lots of leisure, and a high quality of life. And that's all important when you're planning a place out. So we have these houses, and what you see is we've now unlocked Wealthy Village House. We got to have food service. There's plenty in this area, plenty of leisure, but we need food services. So food services are under landmarks. You can build a mini market or a local market, and the local market needs to be within 8 or 5 radius of a farm. So maybe over here. Now we're not even here. We'd have to build it over here. Very little benefit. So a mini market we could certainly build. So I'm going to place that right at the corner here, and this will be our main street, and we'll place a lot of our, city serving uses on our main street. But you can see I'm going to need a lot of these little mini markets. The radius isn't quite as large. So let's just load up. There is no issue having a city where everyone is well off. So for better or for worse, that is the situation. Now, I say that, but you will need different types of workers. So there is this work. We're going to get a skilled work at some point, and that is going to be very important for us. you can see with the changes that we've made, we have completely exhausted our food, and now we're starting to dip into our stores. So we're going to need to expand our farms if we want to continue to grow as a city and not die and have mass abandonment. So let's chop down some lumber here and expand our farms out. We've made that considerably bigger. We are now at a deficit with our power, and that is because our buildings are leveling up, and the higher level buildings must have power. So let's build a road over here, and this is really to be able to provide power right there, but I'd like to have a road coming down here as well. Build that, no problem, and a connection over to this water mill, not because it's necessary, but because it will be my water pipes. our connected road network, that's going to be our water pipes. So there we go. Build our power, and we're going to see that it's pretty stable right now. Look at this. Our city's starting to look better and better. One of the things that's neat about this, because these are all attached with what we're building right now, we could clear out the middle and put in a plaza at some point in time. We do have these gravel areas and paved areas at some point, very soon. And we also have nice parks now, which provide 2 leisure and 2 green areas. So in a constrained environment, that is what you would do. So we'll put one right here. Provide something nice for this particular household right here. Look at that. That was 2 of our green areas, so we unlocked bicycles. So it will be the path of leisure. Very good. So yeah, now we have unlocked the path of leisure, bicycles, and our city continues to improve. Paved areas are unlocked. So when we come into our parks, we can see that we now have paved areas. There are a few other ones. We have to have 12 happiness to unlock ponds. For floral areas, we have to have 30 green areas and skilled work, which we don't have access to yet. And then for main square, we're consuming skilled work. We have to have double the number of green areas. So you can see it's quite a lot. We also have nightlife now, so we can have a village bar. And we can absolutely add a bar. We need a place to have some nightlife and some leisure. So let's go for it. We have a little mini market right here. And next to there, we have a wealthy village house. What I think we're going to do is across the street, add a little village bar, and that'll be a place where people can recreate. Now you see that we're producing 1 nightlife at our village bar. We also now have these sports complexes. So we have a football pitch. Those provide 1 leisure and 1 sports, and that will become more and more important to us in the future as well. We're going to build this, get rid of these. The nice thing is that this doesn't really consume anything on a long-term basis, just a I take that back. 20 consumption, 100 cost. So we're not going to want to go hog wild with these because they're going to use up a ton of our resources. But look at that. The buildings around here start to improve right off the bat. What we see is we now have wealthy village houses. So this could upgrade to a villa if it had only 25 residents or less within a 4-tile radius. Right now there are 340. This is our city center. So let's say we wanted to make a villa. So let's do that. Let's do that. So we'll start out here. Let's say that this is the wealthy side of the tracks. So we'll build a road over here. And we'll build 4 units because I think a villa is 2 by 2. And when we click on this, to get to villa, we need 1 or more green spaces in a 4-unit radius and no pollution. So all we have to have is a park of some kind. So let's just add a park. We'll go 2 parks here and we'll see what that does for us. Villa ready to upgrade. We get our villa. The villa needs 2 power, 22 food, but it also has 6 residents and 13 happiness. So if you're struggling with happiness, build a bunch of villas and you're gonna be just fine. We'll build another one right here. I don't think that this is close enough. Oh, it is close enough. And I wonder, let's say we get rid of those parks. Can I keep my villa? Absolutely not. They're gonna get real mad and we will see that in just a second. Or they'll make a liar out of me. No, the green space is missing. It will start to get upset. Let's speed this up and see what happens. Ah, there it is. They're both alarmed at this point that they do not have parks nearby, so they are getting ready to flee their homes. Just add some park space right in between them, some paved areas. Apparently that's good enough. All I need is a gigantic parking lot and life is good. So there we go. How about this other paved area? We'll go 4 by 4. Oh, sorry. I didn't want to do paved area. I wanted to try the other one. We're going to go with a graveled area. Ah, I don't know what that is. Looks like a bunch of random potted plants. So we can add a few of those. Ooh, floral park. That needs that skilled labor I was talking about. So we're just going to add a couple of these. We'll get rid of that nonsense right there. And we're good. Now this is improving our happiness. I think we're going to do a few more. No, I think that that's too close. Too close. Can't be that close, friends. Otherwise, we will not be friends. All right. So now we're safe. We're in the clear. Life is good. So let's give a little bit of continuity here. We'll have some paved areas. Get rid of this. And we will add the nice park. So all of this is helping us build towards unlocking our other parks as well. With these parks that we've added, we're now only 4 green areas away from being able to have our main square. So I like that. Got another villa. Things are looking good except for our food. We are now at a deficit, and I think that we have some pretty simple improvements that we can make to get this where we want it to be. So our farmhouse could actually have this as close as here. So that's what we're gonna do. Add a farmhouse right there, and that will get us in a safe place, but we want to be even better than safe. So we are going to add a farmhouse right here as well. So there we go. Things are moving in the right direction. Now, if we wanted to go even further, we could certainly expand out our farm. I think we are going to do a bit of that. Make that field bigger. And we could add some more tenant farmers. That would certainly help as well. I think in between here. Now the tenant farmers need 3, I believe if we take a look at this, they need 3 farms within 1 radius. So I think that we could just eliminate all of these and add tenant farmers in between. Why don't we give that a shot? Not the most beautiful thing in the world, but tenant farmers are really a temporary thing. They actually make your city really unhappy. And I get it. Tenement farming is not something that is, great. So if I were a farmer, I'd much rather own my land than do it like this. And let's see, we can now unlock, we have houses of worship, but we have to be able to build iron. So let's see, for irons, we need a higher population. Let's improve our population a bit. We'll just build this out, get this to be super dense, and add that right along there as well. So that gets us to a population of 660. We're getting, 17, so we're good. So now we could build our iron mine, and we have to be able to exploit the natural resources. This is iron, so we got to be within close proximity. This does not produce any pollution, so that's something to keep in mind. If your city was built around this, you could do that at the low level, but this will improve to a heavy iron mine and then a steelworks campus, which needs to be close to it, and that will produce pollution. So this area, if we are going to have this mining in the quantity we probably want to in the future, it's going to need to get rid of these farms most likely. So there we go, Iron Miner's house unlocked. And this is one of those things where if we just build a couple of homes within close proximity of these iron mines, they will eventually, potentially, upgrade to the Iron Miner's house. And they have to be within 1 unit of a road. So right here is the one that could probably do it. But that does consume electricity, which we are now at a deficit for. So let's build another watermill. That's too close. So this one will work if we get a road going up here. So why don't we do that? We'll build a road right here. Has to be within 3 units. So that should be close enough. Here, even though it looks suitable, there's not enough water flow, so it won't work. So we go to our yellow and we know that that is a suitable location. We are good. And I think we could also even build another villa if we wanted to. And this should be close enough to these parks to be able to expand. No. So it is not good enough. So we are going to add a little bit of a park area. There you go. Now we are cooking with fire. We're doing well. All right. So at this point, there's a couple more things that I want to build. So the reason why you would build a chapel is you could build a religious neighborhood. It's another type of faction within your city, and it will have separate happiness. If we go through here, we can see that things are really looking up, and we have a ton of different types of buildings. Our Iron Miners houses are the saddest. They have 6 happiness for the 2 of them, so it averages out to 3. That's not... No, that doesn't average out. It's average of 6 rather. So they're the least happy. The tenement farmer, not happy. Villas, loving life. A landlord's house, also loving life. Wooden huts, not so good. Wealthy village houses, they're fine. So if we wanted to continue to improve these things, we need to look at things like education. So this stores skilled resources. And if we want to improve some of these, let's say we wanted to build a suburb house. Suburb house needs education. So we've got to build a school. Let's go ahead and build a school. You can see that the radius in this is pretty good. We'll build this next to our soccer pitch, our football pitch rather. And now we have our suburb house. You see things upgrading around here, moving in a good direction. And we have our suburb house. Now let's say we wanted this to become a wealthy suburb house. We would need to have 3 or more leisure. We only have 1. That's because the football pitch only provides 1 leisure. We need some parks. The other thing that this could upgrade to would be a parking lot. And you might go, why a parking lot? Parking lots are needed for the downtown housing, which you could get in the future when you have a bigger city. So that is one of the things you might want to consider, building the things that are necessary for a parking lot. Then we also have this religious neighborhood. They need 3 faith, which would be 3 churches or 1 big church, a cathedral, and a police station. So if that's the route you wanted this neighborhood to go in, that's what you would need to do. We are going to go for a wealthy suburb house. We don't really need much for this. All we need is some leisure. And truthfully, we could get that with 1 little nice park. So let's rotate this thing around and see where this might fit. What is this? This is a suburb house. Suburb house. Let me mix things up a little bit. We'll loop that through here. And what I want to do is just add a nice little park space in the middle. So we have these lateral parks. We don't have enough workers actually for this. So I don't think it's going to let us build it. Nope, that's not going to work. We need more housing. And now other folks are sad. So we're going to have to build housing. We're going to have to build it now before we end up in a panic. There we go. Now we have work again. Still got some upset people here. That is because there's not enough residents within close proximity. So we bailed ourselves out there. You can see the equilibrium that we're at is tenuous at best. So the main square needs, what we now have is skilled work. The skilled work is coming from the suburb house. So that's why you need suburbs, wealthy houses, downtown houses, some of the more advanced houses as you've leveled up your neighborhoods. So I'm going to build a lateral park here. And that looks terrible. I don't know what happened there. So we will give that another go. And I'm just not getting it right. So I don't know why that's happening, but we're going to call mulligans till we get it. And I think it's the road that we're facing is incorrect. It's not. You know what? We're going to scrap all the lateral parks and we're going to go with a nice park. I like nice parks. Now this is 55 consumption or worker work. So we don't have enough to be able to displace all of them. Now we have a deficit again. So that is certainly unfortunate for us. So we will again need more housing. We can't really build much because we don't have much of a store here. But building these ones that we did build, these 9, will give us enough to be able to build things once again, but not our park, so that will remain unoccupied. That said, the reason we cared about this is we wanted to get to our wealthy suburb house, and now we realize we can't even do it because our population is not high enough. But once we get there, it will unlock, so something to keep in mind. One more thing, that we're going to need power and food. Let's get that going. That apparently is close enough. Yeah, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, it works. We'll take it. We will take it. So there we go. We've got our power figured out, and now we need to figure out our food. So the way that we're going to handle this, we'll just add a couple of tenements right here, or tenant farming rather. And I believe we could even add a landlord house over here. So now we're really cranking up everything to the max. So you start to see that we're running low on our lumber. Things that we're building are taking that up. And we might want to consider whether burning wood to produce energy is the most efficient thing for our city to do. We will have coal at some point in time. In fact, that time is almost now, but we're not quite there. There's one more thing I want to build before we call it, and that is I want to build a dock, because this is one of the more interesting things. So if we come in here, we can see that one of the things that this could upgrade to is a fisherman's house. So to build a fisherman's house, you just have to have a dock. So we are going to build that dock. And basically this just allows the production of fisherman houses, provides some happiness. It's an industry. and we can't even build it where I wanted to. No, that is not what I wanted to see. All right, we'll just delete some more homes and see if it likes that more. Yes, it likes that location. I guess you have to have the ability to have some freedom on the sides. Build a road here and a house, and look, you see these beautiful models of these fisherman houses coming up, and I really like those a lot. You also get this pier coming along here. Very, very nice looking little home. So this could upgrade to a fisherman's house as well. So could this. The wealthy village house is taking over though, so something to keep in mind. And we could go up and down. If we click on this, what I think we'll do is add another dock right here. I don't produce enough work to satisfy this, so we'll need more homes if we want this. Not a big deal. And we can see that our production is 384, our consumption is 380, so it actually is kind of a big deal. We are not in a good place there. We can build our roads over here, connect things up, and we'll be in a good place. We are running low now on our wood. Here's where policies could help us. Let's go into our policies, and there is a policy related to the windmills, but we don't have it yet. So what we are going to do is add one more of our lumberjack cabins so we can get some more wood. We'll need to bring this back. We'll just put that away back here, I think. So we'll build a road out in this general direction. And at the end of the road, we will have our lumberjack. No, we will not. I don't know why it's, lumber camp. And that's the exact distance it has to be. So I really got lucky there. So there we go. Now we have some wood production again, which means that we're in a good place there. And we can build one more dock and upgrade even more of these to be some of our fisherman homes. And I really like this model, so that's why I'm doing that. I think it makes the coast look very festive. Here we've got some suburb houses. These I don't know that we're going to be able to convert because the suburb house is a tier above the fisherman's dock. So I do think that it's a really fun game though. And I think that I'm going to leave this one here. I really want to know, did you enjoy this playthrough? Is this something you want me to play for a little bit longer? This is a very inexpensive game. It's currently on sale. It's $15. So go ahead and if you like this, support independent developer. It's on the Steam Workshop right now. Really, really fun game. It is not available on a Mac. I will tell you that right up front. It's not on console right now, but it is on PC. It's inexpensive, and I've played this thing for the equivalent of a part-time job in the last week. Many hours sunk into this, and it is an absolute blast. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you aren't subscribed, please consider doing so, and let's have a really nice view of this community at night. You can see just what a beautiful game this is, the pixel art, the style, the overall fun. This is a deep game, and there's a lot more to dive into. So let me know if you want me to continue it. Take care. Bye-bye.